Rebecca Sugar is on for storyboards? You know we're gonna be in for a damn good episode. Also, it's a Rose Quartz episode, so you know we're in for a damn good episode. Also, I'm a little sick, so my voice sounds stupider than usual.
At home, we only have classical music and movie soundtracks. I've never heard any of these.
You've never heard the philosophy majors?
I love fake band names. I also love coming up with potential band names that I'll never get to use. Philosophy Majors has to be my favorite fake band name of all time. Very convenient that Connie had the same outfit on as Alone Together, so they didn't have to design a new outfit for Stevani. Also, where did that ribbon thing go? Connie has it before they fuse, and then when they do it, it fucking disappears, and it's just gone forever. What the hell happened? This is twice that this has happened. I almost didn't mention it, but I love the way so much is communicated through absolutely no dialogue. Just character expressions.
You two confuse?
Yes?
That's incredible. Since when? Wait, how is this even possible?
Greg just talking about fusion like this is kind of interesting because historically he's always said he was told to stay away from magic stuff. But here he knows exactly what happened. Steven and Connie just fused. So it's like the wind-up before the pitch when it comes to this episode's story.
Wait, how is this even possible?
How is it possible? Because it's fucking magic, doofus. Dingus.
I may be the only human being on the planet who's gonna understand.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but the way this episode ends, this question kind of doesn't get answered. Greg understanding fusion is very much open to interpretation by the end, which I like in principle, but the way the episode presents the question and then doesn't give it a definitive answer is, I don't know, frustrating, I guess?
What can I do for you? What can I do that no one else can do?
This is my absolute favorite song in Season 2, no contest. It's also Rose Quartz's only singing part in the entire show, which is a fucking travesty. They gave her voice actress the perfect song at least. Comparing this one to the song she sings in Hercules, this one beats it out by a long shot. There's some symbolism in this one as well. Greg and Rose are singing to each other, "What can I do for you?" Like, what can I provide in a relationship that nobody else is able to provide? That's a question that I think gets asked in any relationship, and is kind of the basis of this episode. So, what is this huge wall of lights? I'm guessing it's part of the traveling stage equipment he had while he was touring. I assume it comes apart into smaller panels, otherwise there would have been no way for him to wedge it in front of the temple door like this. This is kind of a bonus of this song being so fucking good. It's the introduction of a new fusion, Rainbow Quartz. Also, props to Greg for keeping up the guitar solo. I would freak out and stop if I saw this shit. Sometimes I wonder if the Crystal Gems ever had choreographed fusion dances that they knew would work 100% of the time. Every time we see a fusion dance, it just seems like they're feeling it out and improvising. Having the steps planned out seems like it would make more sense, but it also goes against how fusing works in the first place.
Pretty cool, right?
If Rose and Greg are at casual smooch levels of relationship, I'd have to guess that this is at least a few months after they met back in Story for Steven. I know those phases happen at different times for different people, so that's just my best guess. I'm just trying to pin down a timeline of when this happens. Also, video equipment. Greg was showing Steven a VHS recording. Those weren't a thing until, like, the late 80s. And I'm guessing Greg didn't have state-of-the-art video equipment, so I'm guessing this is early or mid-90s. I may have had the timeline messed up in Story for Steven. This is definitely closer to the 90s than the 80s. Like, Sega Genesis era.
I have to go, but are you doing anything later?
You know I'm not.
Rose Quartz is going on a mission and we don't get to see it. Blame the Steven's point of view rule, but the point of view rule is kind of out the window in this episode. I guess it's Greg's point of view now.
Hey, I hit the drums, so pay up.
Here you go.
Damn, Amethyst got paid for that gig better than real gig drummers.
You're just a phase. You know that, right?
No, I actually don't know that, Pearl.
Well, of course you don't. You don't know anything about Rose.
So Pearl and Greg have kind of had a history of not liking each other, and this is the closest thing we get to an origin story for that behavior. Pearl is super protective of Rose when he shows up, because she's protective of Rose regarding anything and everything. Also, she's crushing on her hardcore for the past 6,000 years or more.
Fusion is the ultimate connection between gems, and you are not a gem.
Also, the way Pearl talks to Greg as if he's beneath her is kind of insufferable, so I tend to side with Greg when they're interacting like this.
I will try. Oh, geez, what am I doing? These things are expensive.
That's a dynamic, Mike. You can throw those things into the ocean and they'll be fine. That's real, by the way. Those things are nearly indestructible. Dropping it from 5 feet isn't going to do anything. So this is where he's staying pre-car wash and pre-Vidalia? Just right outside the temple? I guess that's one justifiable reason that Pearl might get annoyed.
Yeah, I was just trying to get my head around this fusion dance.
A fusion dance ain't about your head.
Unless you're Pearl, then it's all about your head.
First, you need a gem at the core of your being. Then you need a body that could turn into light. Then you need a partner who you trust with that light.
Metaphorically?
Literally.
This scene seems to be the reason that a number of fans think Stevani shouldn't be possible. Garnet says your body has to be able to turn to light, and humans of course have squishy meat bodies. But those people are missing the fact that it's fucking magic! Rule of cool is what I say. A lot of storyboard artists have a distinct style, or like a tell that shows you who drew a specific storyboard. When you see these meaty, detailed hands and characters grabbing their face, you can tell it was boarded by Rebecca Sugar.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Universe. I think you can do it, but it won't work if you dance like Pearl.
Garnet is like the resident fusion expert and a bit of an oracle, so I'm a bit confused why she tells Greg she thinks he can fuse. That also ties into what she says at the end of the episode, but I have my own theory. I'll tell it when we get there. I like this little move he does. He just got advantage on his next charisma check when he did that. God, I love this episode. This scene is so pretty with the lighting and the music and the beach and the way both characters move. They're not pulling any punches with this one.
We didn't fuse.
What?
You can't fuse. You're a human.
Greg has 20 in charisma and advantage, and he rolls a nat 1 twice. C'est la vie.
That's the problem. I'm just a human.
That's not a problem. I love humans. You're all so funny.
Maybe Rose wasn't evil, but I guess she was racist. Not any more than most other gems, but still.
But I'm getting a little worried about the future.
Oh, just ask Garnet.
I'm starting to wonder if you respect me?
Oh, you're hilarious, Mr. Universe.
Damn, I guess Rose is failing her charisma checks too. She's saying all of the worst things she could be saying. Also, if you ask if someone respects you and they start laughing in your face, fucking run.
Can you just talk to me for 1 second like a real person?
I'm not a real person.
There are some things to unpack in this line. Is she saying this because she's not a human, she's an alien from another world? Or is she saying this because Rose Quartz doesn't actually exist? I'm telling you, this line means something totally different after watching through the whole show.
I thought, haven't we... Is this not how it works?
I don't know. This seems like a pretty typical phase in any relationship. I call this the what are we actually phase. I like that Rose and Greg aren't depicted as instant lovers. This episode makes their relationship seem a lot more real. That's kind of unique for a kids show. What other kids show has people talking seriously about their relationship? And I'm not talking about relationship melodrama.
This is so weird. You really are an alien.
Why are you laughing? Why are you crying?
The cry streak is still going. Hell yeah, we're at 9.
How'd you end up with Harpo, Groucho, and Chico?
Oh.
This is a reference to the Marx Brothers, a vaudeville comedy troupe. If Groucho here looks familiar, that's because he was the inspiration for these fucking things, Groucho glasses. Alright, so the Stevens point of view and Greg's point of view things are both out the window with this scene. This is probably the biggest offender of breaking the point of view rule in this show so far. This scene kinda makes this episode work. The age-old adage of writing still stands. If it makes for a better story, break every rule in the book.
Why are they still dancing? It didn't work.
Yes, it did.
What?
It worked.
So here's my theory of why she said it worked. Fusion obviously didn't work, but Greg followed every bit of advice she gave him, and now Rose and Greg have formed a deeper connection. He fused his way, which was simply talking and leveling with each other. In her own words, that's fusion. The problem is that Greg took it literally at first.
It worked.
I think Garnet sounds grumpy when she says this because this is the moment Rose's focus turns away from leading the crystal gems and instead turns toward her relationship with Greg. Whatever Garnet is seeing with her future vision right now has to be something she doesn't like.
And Connie, if you ever need to talk to another human being about this, you can always talk to me.
This is setting up the moment later this season where Connie has to spill the beans to her mom about gem stuff. What sucks is that this is cementing the fact that Connie and Greg are the only important humans in Steven's life. Justice for Petey and all that. Want me to blow your mind? This is still not my favorite episode of season 2. It's up there, it's way up there, but that's just how fucking good this season is. This episode had everything going for it. Singing, fusion, it was a rose quartz flashback episode, which I'm a total sucker for. I can even give this episode a pass when it comes to Peridot and Malachite because, as far as we know, the gems are out looking for both of them during this episode. I don't think it hits as hard emotionally as Lion 2, but it might be my favorite Rose Quartz episode. And if you want to see new videos from me a week before they premiere on YouTube, you can subscribe to my Patreon for just a couple bucks. The link is in the description, as always. Shoutouts to my Grandmaster patron, Scala LD. Grandmaster Earthbender. The whole Earth. They're the reason the Earth isn't a perfect sphere. They've just been holding it like that for a really long time. And shoutouts to my master patron, Geeky Game Guru. Master of getting exactly 8 hours of sleep and feeling perfectly rested every day. And shout out to my journeyman patrons, Henri Wickers, Bananas Are Violet, Boomblorp, Dr. Moon, Gage M, Gizmo, Horsey Jumper, JK Gamer 2146, Max Buchek, Murky Water 6, Netabag. I gotta get that one right, come on. Sam Bishop, Silly Alien Lady, The One True Fusion, Where Did Greg Get That Huge Dance Floor From, Yotawo, and ZT the Fish Guy. Next episode is Chillited! If you don't say it like that, you're doing it wrong.